All right. The first question, just to start things off, I would like to hear from you basically who you are, what you do, and a quick description of Tiger Research and what is your business in just a few lines.
My name is Daniel Kim, and I'm the founder and CEO of Tiger Research. Tiger Research is an Asian Web3 research and consulting firm based out of Seoul, South Korea, Vietnam, and Indonesia.
Can you
Yeah.
maybe talk a bit more about what you do? Like, what is your core business? Maybe talk a bit about the reports that you deliver, etc.
So Tiger Research is like a center of Web3. We help enterprises adopt Web3 technology, help them really leverage the power of blockchain and combine that with their existing business and thrive. We do three things. We do market research, both private and private researches for our clients and audiences. We also help business and technology develop. And recently, we expanded our business on doing project management for the toughest blockchain-related workloads that any enterprises face. For example, we work with Animoca Brands on their Korea business. We work with Forte on expanding their blockchain gaming platform out of US to Asia. We also work with Kaya Foundation for quite a while on helping them their real world asset business. We work closely with other foundations like Solana, the Graph Foundation, and Everyworld.
Now, I would like to hear a bit more what made you decide to start Tiger Research. Like, did you see a specific needs, or is it more linked to your previous experiences in the Web3 ecosystem? Like, where does this idea, this concept, this like motivation come from? And how do you think you can impact the Web3 industry and more in general the tech short term and long term?
So I started my career back in 2010, and most of my career was in large technology companies like Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and I also worked at hedge fund as a technology analyst, advising clients and LPs on how to invest in technology companies. So one thing that encompasses my career was how technology is impacting the world and how we live. But during that 15 years of experience, I realized that when a technology has to be widely spread out and distributed, as well as reaching the mass adoption, there is always a regional or local supporters, partners, and ecosystem that really help out the last 2 mile of technology adoption for enterprises and small, medium-sized businesses in each country. So for example, I'm not sure everybody knows, but SoftBank in Japan now is the largest telco company in Japan, has started as a software reseller for Microsoft. That's why it's named SoftBank. Masayoshi Son, back in 1980s, thought software will change the world. And at some point, most of the SoftBank business was relying on reselling Microsoft's business. And in mid to early 2000s, there's a company called Accenture that we all know. It's all commonly called system integrator or IT consulting companies. These companies emerged in bridging the gap between companies and people who are trying to leverage technology, but it's really hard. So these companies really help out their clients on doing the research, doing the execution, after service maintenance, as well as really evangelizing key decision makers. Also in 2020, started by Amazon Web Services, which I was one of the early members in Asia, expanded into Asia. Their first region started from Japan, and then Korea, Singapore, and so on. But I'm not sure everybody know, but 50 to 60% of general cloud business goes through partners in all regions. So when I was working at these companies like Microsoft and AWS, I always thought many people misunderstand technology is adapted in a do-it-yourself kind of way, DIY way, but that is not really the case. There's always local partners who really help clients in both cultural and business and technology ways to adapt new trend of things. So at that time, which was around 2020, 21, I thought blockchain is something that really going to change how we interact with internet, how we manage some of the most toughest workloads and workloads that has a lot of problems. and I thought blockchain can really solve some of these issues. So I founded Tiger Research. Well, I used to work at one of the Tiger Cup hedge funds, so I always wanted to use the name Tiger. And I wanted to be a research-driven company. Either we do consulting, research, or business development. We wanted to be always researching and studying up-to-date knowledge in the market. So I named it Tiger Research. So basically, all that said, we thrive and we work tirelessly every day to help enterprises realize their true value and true mission through the power of blockchain technology.
In general, when we dig a bit deeper into the way you work, one thing that really impressed us was the methodology that you use for your work. Can you, obviously, without getting too much into details, can you give us a bit of understanding and a bit of visibility on what is the process that you put in place for your whole support to companies and your whole like way of accompanying your clients? What is basically what makes Tiger Research so unique in their way of working, in your way of working?
That's a really good question. I always share this with my teammates as well as my clients, but I think ironically, the most important thing as we run our company is building and maintaining trust and being a trustworthy partner for all of our clients and audiences. Although blockchain itself fundamentally want to solve the intermediary issue, blockchain technology itself want to reach like a trustless or permissionless environment, the people who actually operate in this space is not always the most trustworthy people in the world. There are a lot of scam projects. There's a lot of wronggoings that's going on in the world. I built a company at least to do more than 10 to 20 years of business. And I really believe in that whenever it comes to technology adoption, you need local and regional partners who can really help out the problems and the challenges that's happening in the region. So I'm taking this really long term. So the most important thing I want to highlight is that we strive every day to become a trustworthy partner. What does it mean by a trustworthy partner? We are always here. We know the knowledge, and then we have the networks here on understanding and being aware of what is really happening in this world. We like to deliver results rather than just showing numbers and prediction and assumptions about certain clients' needs. So back to what's most important, I think being a reliable and trustworthy partner and always thinking in their shoes is really important and what really differentiates from. So I think that's the unique culture that we possess. And you asked what's like the unique way of our research. We try really hard to keep up to the latest trends by basically reading a lot of things. I think most of us spend at least an hour or two reading all those source information from different sources, like from official researches, white papers, Telegram chats, Twitter. There's some AI tools like Kaito and ChatGPT, Cloud that helps out our speed of studying as well as reading. But generally, I think there's an absolute number of hours that we input to keep up with the changing knowledge and trends that's happening in Web3 world. Maybe third would be we try to use both top-down and bottoms-up research methods when we do a certain research or customer projects. What that means is Web3 in this industry itself is generally driven by key narratives in certain time of the period. For example, tap to earn was a big trend. NFT airdrops, TG airdrops were a big trend in the early half of the year. So we try to always think about what is the paradigm changing narrative of today and what will be that for the future. We also do a lot of bottoms up research, which means it goes back to the amount of reading that we do as well. But on top of that, we also do a lot of networking sessions. By way networking, it's not like we go to dinner parties or meetups. It's more like we sit down with our partner or clients one-on-one and really try to understand what is the real pain point of either a Web2 company trying to do Web3 or a Web3 native company trying to do a new project. We really try hard to understand the client or partner's problem sets and the challenges they face.
I would like to add one more question here before we talk about the reports that you've just published regarding KBW. I would like to ask you, if you had maybe 30 seconds to convince a foreign company that they should come and invest some time, invest some resources to start working in Asia and or more specifically in Korea, if that's something you would suggest, what would be your speech? What are basically the main reasons, the main incentives that a company, a global company would have to come to Asia and to come to Korea more specifically?
Well, first of all, I truly think Asia is the place to be. If either you're a project builder, either you're a community builder, or are you launching any kind of Web3 project, Asia is a region that you should never miss. In a macro perspective, first, it has at least 50% of the population of the world. There's very good talent, both users and builders. It's an area where there's a abundance of good talents and educated users who are willing to invest and use interesting projects. I also think it's in a region where there is most certainty around regulations around blockchain and Web3, especially in countries like Singapore. It's really leading in its regulatory matters. And also, I also believe that the first mass adoption will spark out from Asia. I think the most largest projects, especially in the application layer, will also come out from Asia due to the sophisticatedness of the people here and the already well-built infrastructure on technology here, and as well as generally regulators who have good understanding of what blockchain is. Why Korea? Whenever I talk about the potential of a certain country in blockchain or Web3, I talk about four different things. Is there enough builders, both enterprises and startups, building or investing in Web3? Is there enough developers who are able to really hands-on to blockchain engineering? Third is investors. Is there enough institutional and retail investors who have appetite or has a willingness to invest in blockchain? And last is, how are the regulation landscape? In that sense, Korea is above average on all these aspects. There's at least 50%, more than half of Korean enterprises are interested and either have their foots on into blockchain technology. For example, LG, the second largest electronic manufacturing company in Korea, has a research about Web3. SK, the largest chemical and semiconductor company in Korea, only after Samsung, it has a blockchain project called Upton, which is sort of like a wallet plus marketing tool for Web3. So looking at all these developers, I missed out the gaming companies, Web3 game like Nexon, Netmarble, Craft, and they all have their Web3 initiatives. So all that said, there's so many enterprises that are interested in Web3, both in FOMO of being left behind or not being hedged on this this enormously fastly growing industry. Also, secondly, Korean investors, although institutional investment in Korea is somewhat limited due to regulatory issues. However, there are a couple of Korean exchanges like Upbit, Bitsum, and CoinOne are commonly ranked on top 5 on spot exchange volume, normally between $8 to $10 billion a day. That said, there's such a large appetite and interest among retail investors investing into Web3. Thirdly, Korea has always had a lot of developers compared to the total population and total workers. And a lot of these developers are transitioning into blockchain development. There are good sets of universities that has academic clubs that's really focused on researching and trying out new things on different blockchain mainnets. So the developers are there. And lastly, although Korean government has somewhat disciplined approach to virtual asset service providers and exchanges, however, they do have very good understanding of what is going on. They have very good understanding of the technology. So they're a bit more focused on investor protection than industry promotion. However, it's good to understand that they are listening to us and they're there to really protect the investors. So Korea has really never had this much of an interest from global markets when it comes to a certain vertical of an industry. But I think Korea definitely is among the top 3 countries in the world where the harmony of enterprises, developers, the investors, and the regulators are all coming together.
Maybe lastly, just to finish quickly, can you tell me a bit more about this research report you just published before KBW? Maybe if you can turn it in a way that you don't say too much and you tease a bit people so they want to read it.
So I think Web3 and blockchain itself has a bit of a festival slash party kind of culture inside because there's such an emphasis on community. But I always thought in order for the industry to grow as a whole, where the rising tide lifts all boats, we had gotta be a bit more intellectual and knowledgeable about what's really happening in this region when anyone visits a certain country. And I think the essence of Web3 is decentralizing and being open source. So we didn't want to capture this into a certain number of clients that we had. We wanted to open up what we know about Korea markets to grow with the industry itself. So we talked to Factblog and Hedge, which are the hosts for Korea Blockchain Week, and they've been done this fantastic event for the past 7 years. And we had made this great idea where how about we distribute open source research to everyone who's participating into Korea Blockchain Week and let them know in advance how does Korean regulations look like, who are the key players, what are the mainnet and L1 and L2 blockchains that are really thriving in this region? Who are the wallet players? What kind of games are being built in Korea? So our goal was to really make sure all the participants, probably like 10 to 20,000 people coming into Korea this and next week, are on the same starting point when they want to have meetings and good discussions with each other. This is not gonna just help us increase our brand, but this is gonna actually empower everyone to have more rigorous and productive discussions. They will really have that information in their mind, so they will can really focus on their business collaborations, their business opportunities, and their, I don't know if they're fundraising, their investment. So that's why we started this. You can download for free on our target research site, 50 pages, but there's also a TLDR, so feel free to download.
Thank you very much.